Hey YouTube, welcome to the Off-Grid Mountain Homestead. From the other day's video, I got the vacuum pump for the mason jar back out. I had a couple of email questions from viewers. The first question was, will the mason jar vacuum adapter or vacuum sealer work with harvest guard 2-piece lids or other style lids that are reusable? Well, I just so happen to have plenty of harvest guard lids. These are my backup lids, not my primary lids. These are for if the store's closed. We still have Canon lids. So I got the harvest guard lid. We're going to do a full test and see if it'll pull a vacuum on the jar with the harvest guard lid. And the second question was, how does the little pump work? Well, both of these questions will be answered before the end of this video, so watch the entire video. Alright, now for the test with the harvest guard reusable lid. So we'll take the lid and the rubber gasket, put on the jar, and then get our mason jar vacuum adapter slid down on top of the jar, and then to the hand pump, and we'll pull a vacuum and see if it works with the harvest guard lids. That should be good enough for testing purposes. Break the seal with the pump. Then we'll take our adapter off the top of the jar. Yes, it does work with harvest guard lids as well. So let's check the vacuum on this jar. Nice. So yes, it works with harvest guard. So using the mason jar vacuum sealer and using the harvest guard reusable canning lids, you have an indefinite method to seal your dehydrated goods, your dry goods, anything like that, and you don't have to waste a Ziploc bag or a vacuum seal bag. So this might be the ultimate dry storage solution, because there's nothing really here to wear out except the pump itself. And you can always get a spare or use your food saver or improvise a pump if something ever does happen to the pumping mechanism. Now, the only thing I noticed different between the harvest guard 2-piece lid and a standard metal canning lid is the adapter is a little more snug going over the harvest guard lid. Now, the harvest guard lid is a little thicker than a standard metal lid, so I think that might be why I feel a little bit of drag with the adapter when it goes on the top. I think it's just a little bit thicker, but it still pulls the seal. So yes, it's a viable option. And to my other viewers' question that emailed me, how does it pull a vacuum on the jar with this adapter? Well, the adapter is sitting on top of the jar that has a rubber seal or silicone seal that seals to the glass of the jar. When you operate the vacuum pump, it minutely lifts the lid up on the jar like such. And as you're building vacuum in the jar, it pulls the lid down faster and faster every time. So that's how you remove more and more air out of the jar. So every time you stroke the plunger on the pump, it's removing this volume of air from the jar. So when you quit pumping and snap the seal out of the end, there's a vacuum in this jar and it just sucks that lid right back down. Now, as to how the pump does this, the pump has a check valve, a silicone check valve in the pump. So as you're pulling on the plunger, it's opening the check valve, and the vacuum in the jar is trying to suck the check valve back down. So that's how you're creating a vacuum in the jar. So I hope that answers my viewers' email questions, and thank you for sending me an email and asking the questions. Hopefully I've helped. And if you've not heard of harvest guard or used harvest guard lids, I'll put a link in the description to harvest guard so you can check them out. I think it's a good alternative to metal lids because they're indefinitely reusable. And I'll also put a link into this pump and a link to the previous video where I introduced the pump in case you missed that one. So thank you for watching the Off-Grid Mountain Homestead. Stay tuned, like, comment, subscribe.